is, have you ever had anxiety? How does it manifest? How have you been dealing with it through your life, and do you have tips? So, I know that a lot of us are dealing with that, and maybe some of you already know me and know that I personally, at some point in my life, anxiety started. When was it? I had a little bit in my third year of law in England. It basically I stayed to study in England while my friends all went back to France. I tried France, didn't like studying there. I didn't feel at home. I just wanted to go back to England. So I went back and then realized I knew no one. And when it was time to go back to do social stuff, I was just first, I'm not the most social person. That's an understatement. I'm not the most social person one would meet, but I really, really had a lot of trouble at that point because I was like, how am I even? I remember taking the bus to go to town, and then I wanted to take the bus, then suddenly had a stomachache, and I don't remember if I got off the bus or I just didn't get on the bus, but that started then a little bit. Then I saw a friend who stayed too. It all went away, but then later in my second year of psychology, at some point I had a stomachache on the highway and a friend was driving me to another friend's house to study. And I had a stomachache and I was like, can you please I don't know, stop and we find toilets somewhere? And we were on a highway, so obviously I wasn't thinking but I really had a bad, I don't know, I had a bad stomachache. It's graphic. And he said, we're on the highway, where do you want me to stop? And I was like, I don't know. And I just got off his car. He probably thought I was crazy. I got off his car and I just stayed on the side. And I just had to calm myself down. Basically, I had felt trapped suddenly. And my brain just was scattered. And that was the first time that something that big happened to me. And ever since, that was 8 years ago, I think. 8 years ago. Something like 8 years ago. Or maybe 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years ago. And ever since, I stopped going anywhere. I lost my friends, unfortunately, because they were social and they liked to meet all the time, and I loved it. But I couldn't get out of my house. I couldn't bring myself to go anywhere. And so because I was stressed but I keep them because it's still part of my life. And obviously I was very, I don't know, I still don't understand how, you know, the brain can get you to a physical level. Like, as soon as I went out anywhere, or I was thinking about going out, my tummy hurt. And I had to, like, just go to the toilet. I'm sorry, it's like, no one wants to know that. But I think it's something that a lot of people go through, and it's really, really embarrassing because every time I had to go out, I needed to find toilets immediately. And it lasted for a very long time, for at least 4 years, I think, 4 more years. So it was really it was a pain. And what I was doing to help myself was I was trying to eat healthier, so less crap, because sugar was also contributing to that. And then I would make sure to go to the toilet before going out. And I was, unfortunately, like, it did help to know that there were toilets wherever I went, so I didn't really go anywhere where there were no toilets, or I would have to fight against myself really bad. And I just fought against myself. I really did. It was a battle. Like, sometimes we went out by car, and then maybe like after a minute I was like, no, we have to go back. I can't. I was a pain. And in pain. But I kept fighting it. I was like, I was trying to find every way that I could to fight this, because I don't like to be helpless. I don't like to have something wrong with me. I need to fix it. So I was like having headphones on me, listening to ASMR. That really, really helped. Thank you, Latte ASMR. I was also listening to music in the car. Music helped me so much because I love singing. That doesn't mean I sing well. I love singing. And so my husband would put music in the car for me to sing to and to have my brain occupied and to actually enjoy it. I also found a song. Sorry, there's a plane or something. I found a song. A song that was from like a League of Legends, and it was called Phoenix. And that song, I grabbed onto it, and I don't even think I know the lyrics, but I for some reason my brain transformed the lyrics to like something like, so like, are you gonna die today? Like, you know, like, so what? Or make it out alive. You gotta come for the monsters in your head, and then you'll fly. It was like something like that. Fly, Phoenix, fly. And I was singing it. I remember myself in the car singing it and fighting myself and telling me at the same time, you can do it. You are stronger than your shadow. You are stronger than this shadow that's trying to swallow you. I am stronger. I'm like a phoenix and I will rise. And this music when you do a little distance, you're like, oh, okay, I can do a little bit more. And then I can do a little bit more. And if it's too much, oh, we go back to a little bit, you know? Just take it one step at a time. And it's hard to find people who are understanding about this. It really is hard. Because it's not something you can fully control. So, I was battling so hard, but when I wasn't, I lost my friends, and I really regret it because I rejected them. I really did. I just didn't want to be outside at first. I didn't, and I lost them. And I feel I'm still there's one of these friends. It was like my sister, and she doesn't know it, and I have this message written in my phone. I'm tearing up because like I think about her so much, because like she used to be like my big sister. I loved her, and I have this message on my phone that I never sent to her, because I don't have the balls, simply. I still don't. But I lost good people. But I understand myself. It was hard. It was the hardest. It was not the hardest time in my life. The second hardest time in my life. It was just really, really hard. But I fought it. So now, also like visiting my sister for some reason like really, really helped me heal. I'm not sure what happened, but I was alone in a house, and my sister goes to places. She goes to places, and she just like didn't give me much choice, and like I just had to fight it. I just had to. So I did. And yeah, COVID didn't help too. But yeah, it is hard. You just have to find people who are willing to understand and who are willing to support, and you need to tell them, this is what I need. If you don't feel like talking in a car because it accentuates it, tell people. It's fine. No one will be offended. They just want you to be comfortable. Go in that car, take your headphones or whatever makes you feel better. But the best guidance I can give you on that is never, you can have resting weeks or something, but make sure to regularly try something. You need to make your body remember that you need to go out and do things. Because if you stay at home and constantly, yes, you are comfortable, but if you just like make your body feel like, well, I don't need to fight it, then it won't fight it when you have to go out. So really train yourself. Also, something that helped me as well was I was taking my headphones and just going around. I was visiting my parents, and I was just walking around their town, but just like close to the house, so that when I had a problem, I could go back to the house. But I was going out in the middle of people, and I was just walking, and maybe sometimes like stopping to look at stores, things like that. I was forcing myself, and I didn't have anyone. I was just walking around. But just help yourself is really the best thing I can tell you, because you need to fight yourself with everything you can. With everything you have, you can do this. I promise you, I am so much better. I'm not entirely healed, but I can live very well. it's my body. I live with it, and you only have one body in your life. So yeah, I could work out, but I'm lazy. But that's an option. Even with that, I don't think that would change my shape. I don't have ankles. I have kinkles, but it's just my body. That's how I was made, and I have a lot of other qualities. I think I try to think more about my qualities than my flaws. So if you have a nice chest, then you have a nice chest. Good for you. I don't have it. I like my hips, for example. I think my hips and my waist are nice, so I just focus on that. And sure, I don't have legs, but who needs legs? I'm kidding. You have something. You have a positive in your appearance. Focus on that, because there are some other people who would kill to have what you have. So like, if you have a lot of chest, please give me some, you know. But other than that, yes, I do have anxieties as well in my face. I don't like my face. I don't like my chin. My eyes are a little droopy, so that's not the best. Also, I think I look like a witch from one side, and I look pretty from the other side. But I look pretty from one side. Which, pretty. So, you just have to find. Oh, also, I hate my traps. My traps are like bigger than men's. I don't like I hate my arms because they were too skinny. Now that I got old, they're a little bit bigger, and I love it. Yeah, don't like my legs. You know, I have a lot of like, especially when you're on camera, you really have to be good looking all the time, or like put together and stuff, and that induces a lot of pressure. But I am someone who doesn't really put makeup in real life, so I do feel a lot of pressure, and I always feel like I have to put on makeup to do like even the littlest thing, and I don't like it. But that's what comes with the job. You always have to to wear like nice tops, like earrings, nice hair, always nice hair, nice makeup, and I think it can get to your head for sure, because every flaw appears like times 3,000. So it's a little tiring. Not gonna lie, it's very annoying. But at least you don't see my legs. Yeah, it's just, I think humor helps a lot. I hate my legs, but they are funny because they look like Alice in Wonderland's legs. Tiny feet and kinkles and giant calves. So in that regard, like, humor helps me think my legs are cute. Right, but you have amazing qualities to yourself, so think about those and put those forward. Like, yeah, you do, like, we all have flaws, and that's okay. Like, believe me, no one is perfect. Even the person that you think is perfect is not perfect. They think that they have some kind of much pass for an extroverted because I can adapt very easily. I know how to go from one social situation to another and adapt to them and pretend to be extroverted when I see someone who's more who's so introverted that they can't adapt. I know how to do this very well. But I love to be at home. I love it. I love to be alone at home doing my own things because I always have something to do. And that's something you'll find in JoJo's interview. We talked about how COVID actually, the quarantine, actually taught us that we still actually thrive for some social contact. I remember that when during the quarantine, I personally was craving for even a cashier to talk with me, because in America, cashiers are so, I don't know, they talk to you and they're really nice most of the time. The ones I've seen. And I love that. Even just saying like, how are you doing? Like, good, okay. Like, I loved that. Just little bit of interaction. So, and also I am someone who's, it's very strange. I don't need friends. I don't necessarily want friends because I know that I can't keep in touch with them. I'm so bad at it. I love to be alone, so I don't know how to behave socially with friends. You know, how to like keep in touch and stuff. My way of being a friend is to listen to people. I'm here when they need it, like almost like as a therapist. That's how I show my friendship. I'm always there when people need it. Beyond that, to like meet up and stuff, I'm not that good. But it is true that I find it weird, like in the ASMR community, the way people talk to me mostly is, it's very strange, as if I'm not human. I don't know how to say that. People talk to me as though, I was told that it's probably because I'm like considered, I don't know, more popular just because of the subs, you know. So people, it's like as if they were talking to their boss, you know what I mean? I'm being talked like I'm some kind of boss. And so I see all these like smaller channels being like super friendly to each other. Although, you know, the job wants that. So who knows if it's like genuine, I guess, but it's, for some reason, like, people are scared to talk to me. And at some point, I was like, am I mean? You know, I was kind of putting myself into question. I was questioning myself, like, do I give off, like, really, like, mean girl vibe or something? Because that's possible. Like, without, you know, sometimes I question myself, like, do I give off okay vibes, or like, am I friendly with people and things like that, because it's important, you know. And I don't know. I don't know, but I wish people would talk to me like just someone that they would befriend normally, if that makes sense. So I don't have that. weeks or something, or just like talk to people as though I knew them. I've known them for, a while or something. Like I try to be very natural to make people comfortable with me. So if that doesn't happen, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Why are you talking to me like this? It's like not natural. Just like be yourself. Just be yourself. So because of this job, I don't have an outside life. I don't have friends outside. And sometimes I find myself envying this and being like laughing with, well, obviously I have, my husband is like my best friend, but like it's a whole different thing. Like sometimes I want to have like girlfriends, to like just have like some kind of, I don't know, coffee with, and just like, I don't know what people do. That's why I don't have any friends. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, gossip, I don't know, whatever, just, you think about like, oh, when I'll be a mom, like, I won't have anyone to share that with, in terms of friends, like, in terms of like real life friends, and that's okay, because I am ultimately very introverted. I like my own time, and I'm bad at it. But in terms of listening, I am a great friend, and if you need an advice or something like that, I'm here always. So I have this like battle against myself of like, sometimes I want friends, most of the time not, and you can't really have that, I think. Also, I'm a grown-up. I'm 30, and at 30 it's practically impossible to make friends unless you have a normal outside job. But I am in my cave all the time. So, calm down. Then you get up and you do something that you love doing. Whether it's going out for a walk, whether it's I write. I love writing. I would write all day if I could. I love reading. I love candles. I light a candle. I take a snack that I love or food that I love. You can order maybe or something. And then you gather all these elements and make your little bubble for a little bit. Just even for an hour if you can, for 30 minutes, whatever. But just take time to do things that you love. Just also something that's very good for the general mood, depression and stuff like that is sitting outside for a little bit. Walking outside, sitting outside, just taking the fresh air if you can. It really is grounding. It really is. Also something about to go back to anxiety, at some point what I was doing that was really helping me in the car was that I was looking up at the top of the trees, you know, like the sky and the top of the trees, and suddenly it just grounded me and I was like, wow, no matter what happens to me, no matter what happens, these trees are always going to survive. Well, unless there's a fire. These trees are gonna be there and just live just exactly as they're doing now. Like nothing's gonna happen to them. Like I can be here like panicking or something, but these trees, there's a constant. Like they're a constant. They exist, like they're related to me, and whether I'm here or not, they will exist. For some reason, I found that there was something so relaxing about this idea, and I just like, the trees are fine, so I'm fine. You sort of grab onto anything you can when you have anxiety, so do that. Just look around, look at animals, look at birds, look at trees, look at the sky. Nature is healing. I'm not kidding. Nature is so healing, and I'm not a big nature person. Like, I'm a nature defender, but I don't go out in nature. But going outside, sometimes I take my coffee outside. That just relaxes me so much. And then suddenly you're like, now I actually feel like I am in life, if that makes sense. It's like when you're in your little bubble and away from everything. That also links back to anxiety and loneliness. You are sort of separate from what's going on outside. But then when you step out, then suddenly you're part of the world. It's a very strange feeling, but just take your coffee, sit down outside, breathe, look at people, look at nature wherever you are. There's something so grounding about this. I really, really recommend it to everyone. It will feel like such a breath of fresh air. So yeah, just make yourself happy by doing things that you love. Be selfish a little bit, you know. Being a little selfish sometimes is healthy. Last question. I feel like you're a very self-confident person. Do you feel self-confident? Have you felt like this all your life? Do you have ways to feel more self-confident? I had made this question specifically for JoJo. she is so shy that she's gonna have so much trouble in life. Well, because my mom sort of like told me that, and then sometimes, you know, like my mom kept on, you know, like pushing me a little and be like, don't, if, you know, don't let anyone step on your toes, or like say something if you don't like it, if you don't like something, like she was always pushing me to voice out my opinions, or like to, you know, to speak. I was really a child that I had my book with my sheet and my pencil to draw, and I wasn't talking ever. I was just very, very in my corner. And so weirdly, because she expected me to come out of this shell and to not be this shy kid, I felt pressure to not be this shy kid. So I felt the pressure to like prove myself in some ways, and to just, yeah, I couldn't tell you how it happened, to be honest, but I think that there was for some reason I cannot remember, a turning point was in high school. In high school, I think, I remember there was like some teacher who had done something, I don't remember, and then my parents called the high school to say that they didn't appreciate what she did. And that teacher stopped me after the class to argue with me. Me, little, shy, quiet me. And for the first time, I felt injustice, and I actually spoke up. And from that moment on, like somehow I didn't, you know, I wasn't like, I didn't become suddenly like this self-confident kid, but then I was like, okay, so there are situations where I actually need to stand up for myself, otherwise like it could be really bad. Not gonna lie, I'm 30 still, and I get my toes stepped on a lot by real life people. I'm learning as I go. I find it really, really difficult to say no to someone who's pretending to be nice. You know what I mean? It's really, or who seems to know more about something than me. I find it really hard. I'm not a, like, I don't know, I'm just someone who, I'm portraying myself as very nice to people. I prefer this than just being confrontational from the start. But I learned how to, there was another turning point, was when I was pretty like lonely, and not lonely, alone, and a little wild child in high school. Like I didn't feel close to anyone. And then I think I told the story before, but there was this group of girls I was staying with, blah blah blah. It's not really friends, just staying with. And then during the exam period, one girl asked me if I had a calculator. I said no, and then she wanted to send to her friend, but she sent to me. Like, oh, she doesn't have any calculator. clothes for like no reason at all. Like at least have a reason. So I told her, did you want me to poop the calculator out of my ass? Like to just, what do you want from me? Like if I don't have an extra one, like. And from that moment on, I also learned that with even like peers, people my age, it's not okay. Like you're not gonna act crazy with me. And I stepped up again. And then my first boyfriend was, how can I say? He was okay. He wasn't mean, but then like became a little mean without paying attention, and I was kind of like squished under his personality. Like he just wanted me to be. He molded me to be the way he wanted me to be. And then at some point, 3 years later, decided that's not who I was, and I felt lost. Broke up with him. Because I had enough self-love at that point to tell myself, like, that's not who you want to be. Like, you're not like that. Like, who are you really? But you're not like that, but who are you? And so, it wasn't self-confidence, but like, I was confident in myself enough to say, I deserve what I deserve. I don't know if it was better, but I deserve someone else who would love me for who I am. Because I wasn't presenting myself as who I was really. And so just little lessons after lessons, you get to learn how to be self-confident because you learn self-worth. You are worthy of, you can have that self-confidence. I know a lot of you probably don't feel like you can, but you are a wonderful person. I always make sure to speak like, as long as you're not a criminal, you are a wonderful person, and you need to stand up for yourself. You need to, because no one else will. And you deserve being treated with respect. You deserve being loved for who you are. You can work on things, like that doesn't stop that you can work on yourself. It's fine, but like, don't let anyone squish you to nothing. You are worth it, okay? You deserve fighting for yourself, standing up for yourself. It's important that you do, okay? Because there are a lot of people who want to step on other people's toes. So, just learn little by little. I know it's hard, but just start by knowing that it is okay for you to do so. It is okay and it is normal. I still have to remind myself that very often. Like, it's okay for me to say no to this. It's okay for me to ask for better. It's okay for you to ask for better, to ask to be treated better, okay? Like, you are a person like anyone else, and you deserve to be treated with respect, okay? And you need to have standards for yourself and for others, okay? If you put these standards on yourself, then you need to put them on other people as well. You're amazing. You're worth it. Okay? You deserve respect. You deserve to be treated well. yourself mentally, physically. Just, you know, give yourself like a cool haircut, like dress yourself in a nice way, put on some perfume, and just like go out and like, you know, feel it, and it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to feel confident. I know that a lot of the time it's like, oh, she's so self-confident, it's like, ugh. It's good to be self-confident. It is good because that means you know your worth and that you are able to apply it in your relationships, in your life, and it's gonna be much easier. So, just love yourself. You're amazing. Why not? Like, take a look at the mirror and just like, I don't know, try some kind of hair and just be like, that shirt looks good. Put on some cool music, like dance on it. Perfume is important. When I put perfume on, I'm like, nothing can stop me right now. Everyone is gonna love my perfume. Not always. But yeah. That was my little confessions. I'm sure we could do like a part 2 with like other subjects. Could be fun. But yeah, now I'll have other people answer all these questions. It's hard to get a hold of creators, so I'm trying to grab people here and there. It's also hard to get people to open themselves to this, which I understand it's not easy. So doing whatever I can to find people, and I hope you'll get to relate to your favorite people. They also each add their own subject that they want to talk about too, so that's interesting. Last one, that was added by Etta Fox. She wanted to talk about failure. So personally, how I deal with failure is very bad. I usually am a go-getter. I expressive, like when I get angry, like it's not nice. But it's always at myself. I never like shout at people or something like that. I don't like that, and I wouldn't do that. I just shout at myself. I just purely hate myself when I fail something. I really, really do. Because often if something didn't happen, it's because I didn't put in enough work. I didn't organize myself. Sometimes I'm lazy, things like that. So I end up hating myself. So I have a very, very bad relationship with failure. I try to be better now. I try to just lie down for 10 minutes, 10, 15, 30 minutes, and just calm down, and then come back, and now I'm kind of like, you'll do better next time. You have to do better next time, okay? Like, I failed this. Let's move on. I'll do better next time. Or I didn't do this, so this happens. You have to be better next time. It's just about like, I just constantly tell myself like, you have to be better, and often it doesn't happen. I'm not better, so I get angry. But I learn. I have gone from like really far away, so now I'm better. But there's still a lot of frustrations. Because this whole job and everything, like I created this, I'm responsible for it, so I'm responsible to like just work harder and harder every time. But it doesn't even always like concern my job. It's often just like if I didn't do something in a specific date that I really needed to do, I'm very frustrated at myself when that happens. But I use that as a lesson every time, because I can do better. You can do better. You can, and that's why you're angry. So just use it and get even like help from outside to make things happen if you need to. But I always hear that sentence like, give yourself some grace. I don't think I've ever done it before. But we need to. We need to, guys. Because like otherwise we get angry about everything. You need to give yourself some grace and sometimes be like, I was tired. I needed to rest. That's okay. It didn't happen. We'll work next time so that it happens. We can't be like, we can't do everything, perfectly achieve everything, have only successes as I know. Okay. And make sure you take time for yourself. Time to do things you love. It will reduce that anger. Be productive. Being productive is the best way to achieve whatever you want to achieve, okay? In any, whether it's your job, whether it's things you want to do, like in your personal life. I know it's hard. We need to be productive. There is just no other way. There's just none.